Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a book review on the book Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. I'm going to be discussing spoilers for this book, so if you've not read this book, then I don't really recommend watching this video. So the plot of this book is that the main character is Felix. He is, I think, newly 17. He's Black, he's trans, he's queer, he lives in New York City, he's really artistic. It's a contemporary book. The plot of the book is when Felix he attends this art school, there's a summer session, and there's a gallery in the art school where people can get their works displayed. And at the start of the summer term, somebody makes an exhibit and displays in the gallery, and it is Felix's pictures that he had on Instagram, but that were old and that were private, and they were labeled with his dead name. So it was this like major transphobic exhibit that was just like pointing out target of who Felix, used to be and is no longer. And so this was obviously really traumatizing for Felix. And so he thinks he knows who did it, and he decides to get revenge on that person who's a classmate by trying to catfish that person through Instagram and like get his revenge by learning something about that person and exposing that guy. The pros of this book are that it is a really diverse group of characters. They're young, and there are a lot of multiple conversations where there are like frank discussions about sexuality and gender identity. One of the main themes of the book is that Felix is questioning his own gender identity. He's not 100% sure if he's really fully like a boy all the time. He wants to find a term that fits a little bit better. So I feel like this book could be a really great resource for like a young person who is questioning their identity, or who is trans, or who feels like they're not totally sure like what the best like label is for that person. I also feel like there are multiple conversations that happen where people throughout the book, both close to and less close to Felix, are really affirming to Felix about it's okay for him to be searching for the best way to identify for his gender, and there's constantly a good support group support from his like friend group to some extent, and also from his best friend Ezra. So I felt like there was also a big like gay pride parade that goes through New York City was part of this book. So I think that if there's a young person who's like doing a lot of this questioning, or who identifies as queer or trans, that they can really see a lot of themselves in this book, either in Felix or in some of the supporting characters. However, for me, I'm not the target audience for this book, and I really was kind of frustrated. I ultimately gave this book like on Goodreads I did like 3 stars, but I really feel like 2.5 stars is as high as I'm willing to go. I am I guess old, but like there was definitely a very strong like New York arts scene, and so there was like the kids were constantly like drinking and smoking pot and skipping school and just like traipsing all over New York and like having parties. And there was just this like part of me, I'm not even a mom, and I was like, young man, you need to get back to school. So that was kind of like a little annoying. And also like I've never really had art friends, but like to hear these like high school students talk all about their art in the way they were, it came across as like really pretentious to me. I'm not sure I think that's just me, and I've never like had art friends. But for me also the biggest problem is that Felix is just really immature. Like I know that I think has just turned 17, like within a month or two of the start of the book. So I know he's really young, but like there were so many times where his emotions were all over the place. He was like literally like about face whiplash level of emotions. And I remember high school like feeling like the like highs were like super high and like my lows were super low. I remember that. I remember feeling like completely consumed by some of my emotions, but at the same time, like it was like obnoxious to me to read on the page with Felix. I also feel like he was really quick to like be like, well, I have to get revenge. I mean, I don't know what I would do in that situation where like you've just been like outed and dead named in front of your peers at your school, but at the same time, like he's like, I'm convinced it's Declan, I'm gonna catfish him. And I was like, catfishing is kind of a dick thing to do. Like, why? Like, that's crappy. And so he does, and he like creates this fake Instagram profile and he catfishes Declan. And then as time goes on, he's like, I don't think that Declan did this. And then when Declan confirms that, like, instead of being like, all right, delete account, or like, okay, cool, like, I'm glad to hear you didn't do it, but this is me coming clean. Like, he continues to catfish him because he's like starting to develop feelings for Declan. And Declan has already declared he has feelings for, you know, this person he's anonymously communicating with. I felt like there was insta feelings between the two of them. But so spoiler alert, like he does eventually come clean to Declan, but then like he goes ahead and he kind of, in my opinion, he was like stringing Declan along. Like Felix wasn't willing to actually take a hard look at how he truly felt about his feelings for Declan and about his feelings for Ezra, because the blurb says that it's a like love triangle situation. And by that point, Felix has realized and Ezra has told him that Ezra has feelings for Felix. I just felt like Felix did Declan dirty and like that was all shitty and not fun to read. I also feel like Felix was kind of harsh with his dad. I understand that it would be super hurtful for your father and like his only parent, because his mom's not in the picture. It would be really hurtful for his only parent to like dead name you. I get that, but and that's a, you know, a lesson that needs to be driven home to his dad. Like I get that, but like there were so many times where his dad said like, hey kid, I'm trying, like I am making an effort, and Felix was just like, well, it's not fucking good enough. And I was like, whoa, like could you chill? Like I mean, I'm not trans. Maybe I'm thinking too much of this. Like, I think that Felix is entitled to his own emotions and feelings, but I also feel like there was like a scene where his dad says to him, hey, I don't know that much about, you know, what to do here if we're talking about sex. So let's go down to the LGBTQ, you know, community center, clinic, where we can like look into this, maybe get you on the pill. And Felix like is listening to this and he's like, on the pill? He only thinks of me as his daughter. This is unacceptable. I was like, your dad literally just said, how about the two of us together go try to figure this out? Like, I'm trying to make you safe. And I was like, could you, like, you have a uterus. You could get pregnant. Like, it's not that's your dad trying to take care of you and help you. And I just felt like Felix was kind of harsh on his dad. But that's like from an outside perspective. So yeah, I felt like the writing was kind of repetitive. I felt like Felix was really immature. I felt like it was kind of cliche for him to magically stumble across the exact terminology that is what he was looking for his gender identity. Like literally 2 pages after the non-binary character's like, well, it's okay. Like if you never figure it out, like some people are questioning for a very many number of years. And, you know, Felix is like, well, that sucks. Like, I might have to accept that. And then he goes home and scrolls through Tumblr and he's like, oh, here it is. This is what I am. I was like, well, that was wrapped up in a cute little bow. And it was also kind of cliche for him to win the gallery at the end. I felt like that was not necessarily needed. Like, it didn't. And he gave like a meh speech at the end. I don't know. I felt like the writing was meh. One of the main themes was supposed to be how everyone is worthy of love and how Felix kind of comes to that realization throughout the book. But I feel like that was not really, I felt like that was poorly executed. So overall, I do think there were some pros in this book. I also personally just was struggling with a lot of the cons that I just spoke at length about. So my final rating was 2.5 stars. And I don't really know why this book didn't do it for me. If I said anything that you want to comment about, please leave a comment down below, and like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks. Bye.